Hello.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey, how you doing, Nick?
I'm doing great. How are yourself?
Oh, doing all right.
Okay. Andrew, you are with the Warriors. House for Warriors. Awesome. Cool. Have you done a Zoom presentation before?
No.
Okay.
I've practiced with it. Actually, I've done a presentation with school, but it was like a school version of the Zoom. So
I just made you a co-host, so if you hit share screen on your end, you should be able to select your slide deck.
got it. Okay. Let's see.
Good morning.
Morning, David.
How are you? How's everyone?
Great.
Good.
You definitely look squished into a corner.
I'm in a phone booth right now.
Oh, awesome.
One
Very
of the
cool.
rooms with the glass door or plexiglass door.
Ah, nice.
I need to change my background.
We got Joe. Hey, Joe. Let me unmute you. All right. Joe, you there?
I am.
Joe, I'm going to make you a... All right, Andrew, I can see your screen. So awesome. We're good there. And Joe, I just made you a co-host. And let me stop sharing. Joe, if you want to try and share your screen, you can.
Okay.
All right, looking good. Okay.
Sorry, college age daughter.
Yeah, I've got my daughter here helping me because it's
All right. Awesome.
Very cool.
right.
Well, now, Andrew and Joe, you have no excuses for not knowing how to share screen when I tell you that you have to.
Got it.
I do that from the beginning, right?
And then, Joe, I'm going to have you go first, and then Andrew. It's the order.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to cancel that. Stop sharing. Do you guys have any other questions between Joe and Andrew? You good? Okay. Yeah, do about 6 to 7 minutes presentation, and after that, I'll host the Q&A session, and that will go for about 15, 20 minutes, depending on participation.
Okay.
It's kind of the rundown. And after, right now, I'm recording this on YouTube, and you can view it later if you wanted to see how the presentation went, record other notes, or just to hear yourself if that's something you want.
Great.
Awesome.
Cool. David, what's your background now? Oh, it's a bandstand. Oh, nice.
Oh, it's a drummer, Alan Aquin of the Disco Biscuits. I mounted my camera in their truss at Red Rocks 2 years ago.
Wow. That's a lot of cymbals.
It's part of my project called Drums from Above that I've been curating for the last 6 years now. I've worked with like 150 some drummers now at this point, not more.
Wow. And
Yeah.
what's this project entail? Is it just a photo?
It's
collage?
just a photo. It's just a photo project, a photo series for drummers, percussionists, keyboardists, full bands. Currently designing a book, coffee table book.
What do you have a favorite or a couple top drum setups that?
Probably Jane's Addictions drummer, Stephen Perkins. I worked with him out in LA.
Okay.
He drum 5 cymbals, and then the rest were just all like toms, and he had a gong drum, and it's pretty cool.
Very awesome. Do you drum as well?
Used to.
Nice.
Yep.
I was always a big fan for Rock Band. Right? I think that was the name of the game.
Mhm.
And I love being the drummer for that. And that, like, me and my friends, you have a couple of guitarists, singer. I'm like, I want to be the drummer, and that's my experience drumming is with a video game.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to drum, and then they gave me sheet music.
Nice. Yeah. That's very cool. And so what's your goal with that project eventually?
I'm hopefully I can release a book in the next like 4 months, 5 months, and just self-publish. I'm about to buy an IBSN number, so I can get.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, keep us up to date when that goes live.
Yeah, for sure. I might present on it one day.
Very awesome.
I'll hit you up.
Nice. Do we have any drummers in the crowd at all?
No musicians?
Okay.
I used to play the trumpet in high school, but that's about it.
I played the saxophone. That was my
Yeah.
claim to fame. I do have an itch to play it again and learn. That would take a lot of time and effort, but I do see the value on playing music and releasing a lot of energy through that. Julia, are you new to 1 Million Cups Denver? I'm not sure if I've seen you on our chats recently.
I think I visited a couple of months ago.
Okay.
I'm with Latitude 40 Consulting. We build custom software, basically any software to order mobile apps, business process automation, web apps. We're out of Broomfield, Colorado.
How big is your company?
Not so big. We're about 4 people in place, and then we hire subcontractors when we need people for projects.
Very cool. What's a current project that you guys are working on?
We're working on a few. One is for a fencing company, a company that builds fences. They wanted to get their ordering processes automated. Another one is for a very large home care, healthcare business. They've been our customer for quite some time. So we have a few more smaller projects going on as well.
Very cool. And how do you find leads? Is it all referrals, or do you guys have a
Cold calling, networking, a lot of referrals, yeah.
Very cool. Well, it's good that I got to introduce you. Hopefully people in the crowd can find some value from you. And you're welcome to share more information about your company in the chat if you want to.
Thank you.
Some branding as well. PJ, I love your photo for your image.
You know, that's Wall Street Journal stipple photo. If you take the Wall Street Journal, they will do that for you.
Very cool. Very jealous. Do you feel it represents you pretty well?
Do I feel who represents me? Oh,
Your photo, your image, yeah.
Yeah. I have to go through about 100 photos before I can find one that I like. So this one is okay.
What it does.
Very cool.
It just goes to the very top.
Gregarious, where are you off to?
Chopping a boy.
The joys of a mobile connection.
Yeah, I think he was dropping off his son. That's what he said.
There seems to be a kidlet in the back.
Anybody have any wins for the past week? Anything you want to share about themselves or their business? It's a great time to brag. Okay. Anybody doing any traveling? I just drove to Chicago this past week, 18-hour drive. My family lives out here, so I decided to just not go on vacation, but just move where I'm working for a week. It's kind of convenient.
So how was the drive?
It was great. My girlfriend and I, we left Thursday night, 7 p.m. and then we got here around 2 p.m. Chicago time. It was actually 1:50 Chicago time because I had a meeting at 2 p.m. and it worked out perfect, and didn't have to miss out on work at all, and it was fantastic. It's great when life works out that way, where we weren't really planning to get there at an exact time, but how the timing worked out, we got in Chicago just enough time so I can hop on a call. But it's definitely easy to make that drive when you got two people, because you just switch off and one sleeps, one drives. All right. Am I doing any road trips this summer?
Me and my partner, we went down to Buena Vista last weekend.
Oh, nice.
Spent 4 nights camping and going to the hot springs down in Cottonwood. It's a beautiful place down there if you haven't been.
How do you like the Cottonwood Springs? I've been to Mount Princeton Hot Springs.
Yeah, Cottonwood's my favorite. It's a lot of beautiful spots to hike and camp, and you're right next to the hot springs, so it's pretty nice.
Where is it? Cotton, I never heard of it.
Buena Vista. It's like
Yeah.
2.5 hours southeast or southwest of Denver.
Oh, where Mesa Verde is?
I'm not sure. I've never been there. Cottonwood Hot Springs, though. Yeah, they're open. They don't make you wear a mask, and it's nice to have something to do these days.
Where'd you camp at?
Just right past the hot springs near the Avalanche Trailhead. There's a 14er over there, and you can camp at the base of it by the river. It's all free camping. It's it's awesome. It's definitely my favorite spot.
Are you by Mount Yale?
I'd have to look it up on the map. I'm not sure.
Okay. No worries. Yeah, the whole area is great. I was out in Buena Vista 3 weeks ago, and we were a little further south. What was the name of the?
Salida.
The area.
Oh, it's Browns Creek Trail.
Yeah, Browns Creek Trailhead,
Nice.
and that's a really great area for just dispersed camping. And there's a really good river nearby, and there's also a lake. Oh, and the river, the actual like Colorado River, I think. Arkansas. Get this confused.
River.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
And you can go and you pay to park there for like $9, but then you can just hang out on the river all day. It's where a lot of the whitewater rafting trips, they stop there for either their morning trip stops there or the full day trap stops there for lunch. But it's just a good place to go swimming and hang out.
Yeah, totally. We stopped over there too, actually. Just
Nice.
to spend a day. So it's fun.
Alright. Any other camping trips to brag about? Anybody have one that they want to show off? You guys are from Colorado. You have to be gone camping.
So 3 weeks ago, we went down to Alamosa. Sand dunes is down there. And
Nice.
right across the reservoir from Sand Dunes, there's an old state park that had to close because the water is contaminated from the agricultural stuff upstream. So they handed it over to the state wildlife area. It is a completely laid out state park that you can camp in for free if you have a fishing license. So we spent about 4 days down there in a little trailer, and you look across the water and there's sand dunes laid out and
Nice.
all the mountains. It's just gorgeous down there.
Very cool. Did you hike the sand dunes at all? I've done that before.
Not on this trip. We've done it before. On this trip, this was mostly a sit in camping chairs and watch the stars move around kind of a trip.
That's a good trip.
It is a very good trip.
What's the name of the spot?
It's the San Luis State Wildlife Area, I think is all it's labeled as. But it's about, 10 miles east and a little bit north of Alamosa.
Very cool.
Okay, I found it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's great. You just go pick up a fishing license and you got a reservoir there so you can go fishing as well. And then they've got power, they've got dump stations. The only thing they don't have is water, and it's all free if you've got a fishing or a hunting license.
That's awesome.
PJ, there was a comment recently. I'm pretty jealous if you saw it. He's there when I comment. He wants to comment on the comment. Okay. Got it. I know. Just making conversation. Okay. All right, we're gonna get started in a minute here. Let me prep my screen. Share some links with you guys too. Let's do that. Chat. Okay. Oh, those links are not hyperlinked. I need to update that. That's annoying. I hate sending links out and you can't click on them. It's like, what's the point? Okay. So I'm just sending out our website link, our YouTube link if you're bored and want to watch old videos. And then I created a landing page for 1MCDEN with more information about our events. So let's get started. Let's present. Some housekeeping notes. Please mute yourself if you're not speaking. There is the raise hand button to ask questions. That makes the Q&A a lot easier. Also, you're welcome to use the chat feature in Zoom to promote your business or ask questions. There's a gallery and speaker view in Zoom if you don't know. And also, please update your name in Zoom. Like, adds more engagement. Do like first name dash job title or first name company as well. Here we go.
1 Million Cups is a weekly educational program developed by the Kaufman Foundation. Over the years, we've added more cities. Creates a great energy here to see what's happening across the country. What I've learned from other entrepreneurs is very, very valuable. Sitting in a room with other people that have ideas too, it helps people to leave thinking, you know what? My idea is worth something. It's worth pursuing. It's worth going after it. Even if it looks like a challenge, I should still go out and try to do it.
Welcome to 1 Million Cups Denver. My name is Nick Campion. I'll be your MC for today. 1 Million Cups, we meet every week Wednesday at 9 a.m. via Zoom for right now. We do virtual coffee or virtual tea at every meeting. Here's my coffee cup and Chicago one because I'm in Chicago right now. We do 6-minute presentations, not pitches. We're here to connect, not network. After the presentations, there will be 15 to 20 minutes of audience feedback and questions. This is a place for entrepreneurs to be vulnerable, open, and transparent. And we're here to discuss ideas, not people. I'm gonna look at the gallery room. Who is new to 1 Million Cups? Could I get a raised hand? Anybody new? I don't see. Just myself is the only one that's raising their hand. Okay, awesome. Then we have all the regulars here. And if you don't know, we do have a website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. This is where you can see who's presenting each week. Also, sign up for free membership. You'll get our weekly email about who's presenting. Looking at our sponsors, thank you for sponsoring us each week. do we have, let's stop my screen share to see everybody. I don't see anybody from Colorado Lending Source. Unfortunately, they usually like to talk. So we'll just move on from that portion. But what we will do is give them a round of applause once I can find my screen. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. I have a cheesy clap for our sponsors. Okay. Moving on, we're gonna start off by doing 3 introductions. Is there anybody in the room who would like to introduce themselves just so we can get to know the community a little better? Name, what you do, anything you would like to pitch. If not, I'm just gonna call on people. Going once, going twice. Let's go with Cassidy. We haven't heard from Cassidy in a while. You want to just introduce yourself real quick?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Cassidy Ritter. I'm a journalist here in Denver, currently freelancing for 5280. I primarily cover business news, so restaurants, retail opening, acquisitions, startups, which is why I'm here. A little bit, just in case you have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Cassidy. Anybody else want to introduce themselves? Not, I will call on, let's see, John. John, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, actually, this is first time attending, so nice to meet all of you virtually. My name is John Ladaga. I'm the CEO and founder of a supply chain tech startup out of Denver area. And yeah, glad to be here and attend today, meet some of you guys virtually and hear some presentations today. Looking forward to it.
Awesome, John. I'm assuming you're going to sign up and present in the future. That's why you're here.
Yeah, might just have to,
Okay, good thing I put the link in the chat for you to go to our website and apply to present. Love how this works out. First logo. Okay, and one more volunteer to chat. Let's go with Julia. I know we chatted before, but if you want to introduce yourself again, I think that'd be great.
Sure. I'm with Latitude 40 Consulting. We're a local custom software development company. We build software, mobile apps, web apps to order. Basically, you have an idea for a great app, we can make it happen for you. We also do business process automation. We help businesses automate their processes. Maybe they have an off-the-shelf software which doesn't fit their needs 100%. We can adjust that. We can add functionality. We can integrate different systems between each other. For example, right now we're doing a project where we're integrating HubSpot within the ERP system, so people don't have to copy the same data manually from one system to another. So we kind of do all kinds of software development. And again, we're local out of Broomfield, and thank you for having me here.
All right, thank you, Julia. Awesome. Thank you for everybody that volunteered. Later on today, we're going to do wins for the week and community announcements. So start thinking of what you might want to say. Here at 1MCDEN Cups Denver, we're open to a variety of presentation types. If you have an idea that you're just trying to bounce it off other people, it's a great platform to do that. If you already have a product, it's a great place to present that product and get feedback. If you're looking to go to investors and raise money, if you want to practice that presentation, great place to do it. We're also looking at business experts. So if you have an expertise in marketing, finance, whatever, any aspect of a business you are an expert in and you're an expert in it, we'll love to hear from you and kind of help educate the community. If you're an organization that's related to entrepreneurship and startups, we'd love to hear from you as well. And if you're a past presenter, we'd love to have you check in with us or kind of give us an update on what you're doing. For today, our first presenter is No Hands, a pen device that prevents an individual from becoming infected with a virus or bacterial infection. In this time before a vaccine is a way for individuals to do something to protect themselves from becoming infected by COVID-19. Let's give a big round of applause to No Hands. Okay, this is, where'd he go? Joe, it's your time to shine. You can share your screen. Sweet.
Let me.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Joe Kovarik. I'm the owner of No Hands Technologies. For over 30 years, I've helped entrepreneurs and inventors protect their intellectual property. I'm a patent attorney at the oldest and largest intellectual property law firm in the Rocky Mountain region. My background is in biochemistry and molecular cellular developmental biology. I'm also an inventor. I'm the father of 2 children, and I preach to them constantly that life will present them with problems. Their task is to solve those problems. We are all faced with perhaps the biggest problem we have ever encountered. All of us have experienced severe anxiety in these COVID times. What can we do to protect ourselves in the time before we get a vaccine? Sure, social distancing, wearing a mask, washing your hands, but neither COVID nor the flu infect you by seeping into the pores of the skin of your hands. You get infected by a viral load contacting your face, your nose, eyes, and mouth. Though it sounds trivial, this is the last step that is the most critical. Don't touch your face. Touching your face is the predominant way folks get infected with the flu. While COVID is transmitted in aerosol form, the virus can also be transmitted by touching surfaces contaminated by the virus and then touching your face. I'm reading Bill Bryson's 2019 book, The Body. He asked a Washington University professor what he believed was the greatest risk to us right now. Flu, he said without hesitation. Flu kills 30 to 40,000 people every year, and that isn't a good year. COVID has now claimed over 130,000 lives in the United States, over 1 million people around the world in just the last 6 months. The flu kills roughly half that number of people every year, shifting with the season between the northern and southern hemispheres. Here's a clip from the movie Contagion that came out a decade ago.
So at this point, I think we have to believe this is respiratory, maybe fomites too.
What's that, fomites?
It refers to transmission from surfaces. The average person touches their face 2,000 or 3,000 times a day.
2,000 or 3,000 times a day?
3 to 5 times every waking minute. In between, we're touching doorknobs, water fountains, elevator buttons, and each other. Those things become fomites.
Today, I'm going to show you one of the embodiments of the No Hands technology that can vastly reduce death and illness caused by infectious disease. This is just one embodiment, a baseball cap fitted with 2 sensors and a silent vibration alarm that informs you when you are about to touch your face. There are many different embodiments, from jewelry to buttons to sensors on workstations to glasses. The point is, we can train ourselves to be much more cognizant of when we touch our face. Sorry for the glitches here. You can see how easy it is to make this device. You can even provide kits to retrofit existing baseball caps. I now own 6 issued patents for this technology. More are pending. These patents broadly protect the inventive concept and provides an owner or an exclusive licensee with the ability to exploit this technology with few worries about competition. After the release of the movie Contagion, I got a call from a Yale law professor, Ian Ayers, who teaches an intellectual property course to his law students. He did a patent search of technologies that could be used in a global pandemic. He found my patent and contacted me. He believes that this invention could protect the global population prior to the introduction of a vaccine. I sent my precious prototype to him, but one of his grad students misplaced it and it was never seen again. There are companies where all employees wear a baseball cap already. For example, in the food industry, Using the no hands device, McDonald's could reduce the number of its employee sick days that could easily cover the cost of this device. It could also reduce the spread of certain bacterial diseases passed on from a food worker to a consumer's food. If elementary students learn not to touch their face, the number of sick days of their parents would go way down. The no hands device can communicate with a smartphone to record the number of times a person touched their face, providing individuals and teachers with a way to measure improvement. My point is that the no hands technology can protect folks from various infectious diseases and reduce the incidence of both known diseases, such as the flu, as well as yet to be encountered viral and bacterial diseases. Training a human not to touch their face will dramatically improve the health of future generations. My ask, I need to get this invention manufactured and distributed. My personal skill set and the time I have available to do so are insufficient to advance this goal. I would love your thoughts on how best to proceed. Thank you. And here's my contact information. Thanks again.
Awesome. Let's start off with a big round of applause. Okay. Thank you, Joe, for that. That was awesome. Let me share my screen. So we're going to go now into our Q&A portion. Anybody that's new or doesn't know how to ask questions, here's a quick guide. You can do questions like, how does blank compare to blank? How does blank work? What are the parts of blank? How are blank and blank related? And what is your perspective on blank? These are kind of questions to help things get started. Please use the raise hand button. If you don't know how to use that button, just unmute yourself and I'll call on you. So let's start with questions. Who has a question for Joe here? Looking for a question. Jim, go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Joe. Nice idea. I like it. Obviously the patents are critical in something like this because it's one of those where you look at it, you see it, and you go, oh, aha. So there's not a good way to hide the secret sauce. When you're looking at manufacturing stuff, are you looking for a partner to help design, develop? Are you looking for somebody you just want to pay to do the industrial design? What are you really looking for when you talk about you need help getting it to product?
It's a good question. I am really pretty open to various different ways to go about this. Preferably, I just don't have the time, and I need somebody else that has some passion, some ability, a skill set that could take this and really figure out, what are the best embodiments? Is it a kit? Is it a retrofitted kit? Are there baseball hats? Are they sunglasses? There's so many different embodiments that are covered broadly by the patents that, it could be a lot of different things. I just don't have the time and really, again, the skill set to put it all together, to figure out the marketing, distribution, and how best to go about it.
Okay. So that's kind of a broad range. It's not only kind of the product development side, but you're also thinking in terms of marketing, distribution. Are you also thinking in terms of the essentially building out that team externally to bring it to market? So almost really spinning up a company and licensing them the technology.
Absolutely. I mean, what is lacking is a team, a team of skilled professionals that know what they're doing and how to, get a product made and launched.
All right. Shoot me an email after this. We can talk.
Okay.
Joe, I would love to hear more about the technology. You briefly kind of talked about the sensors in the hat, but I'd love to hear more about that, how exactly it works.
Yeah, the prototype that I had made is a bit dated. I mean, these are off-the-shelf components. Sensor technology, I think, has improved greatly in the past, 7 years since the prototype was made. I think it's gotten smaller. Sensors are everywhere. I mean, back then, the sensors to work, where you wash your hands or whatnot was fairly novel. Now they're everywhere. So I think the costs and the size of sensors have gone way down. The vibrating alarm is just one of many. You can do it with lights, you can do it with whatever, but a silent vibrating alarm is an easy thing off the shelf again. So my belief is that the costs of this device would be, fairly trivial. But it is a basic biofeedback mechanism that we can all learn. And that's the other thing. You really, my experience with the prototype, it takes maybe a half hour of wearing it, so you are really conscious of when you're touching your face. You don't need to wear it all the time. You don't need to, wear it for hours and hours at a time. That's why, having kids do it when they're young and really learn a good habit about not touching their face, they'll just be more cognizant of it. And when you have to itch your face or itch your nose, you grab a tissue, you grab something else. You don't infect yourself.
And if you were to touch your face, the hat then senses that aspect and then triggers a reaction, so you would know that you just touched your face.
It warns you when you can a proximity sensor is there, so you can kind of dial it in. Maybe it's 6 inches from touching your face. The buzzing alarm will go off, and you go, oh, I wasn't even cognizant. I was about to scratch my head or do this. And so it just makes you very aware of where your hands are in relationship to your face.
Awesome. I saw Dave first. Dave, you have a question?
I do. Great presentation. I just love the clarity and simplicity of your message, and easy to follow what you're doing. So as far as feedback as you present to other investors, keep doing what you're doing. I really like it. The question I have is, what do you think, typical ball cap, for example, is going to be $20 to $30, and these would be ones that you're buying that are logoed for sports teams, whatever. What do you think the market will bear with consumers? And obviously, if this is something that's going to help me protect my health and you get that message across, I'll pay more. What do you think the consumer retail would pay for your ball cap, for example?
Good question. I think, again, because I think the electronics are relatively inexpensive. I'm guessing another, $5 to $10 maybe on top of what a regular cap would cost. You could do it for that. I'm also thinking that, again, McDonald's or United Airlines or anybody that really wants to test it out in the company to say, we have sick days, and if we can cut our sick days down by X percentage points, that'll more than pay for, caps. And finally, I think, $30, $20, $30 for a baseball cap. We all have tons of baseball caps in our basement or wherever. If we have a retrofittable thing that you can just clip these on, and I think the cost goes way down, and people say, it doesn't have to be a special hat that they have to buy. They already have their favorite hat and they can put it on it.
That's a great point. I think, just personally, like my own shopping habits have changed. I've got certain grocery stores that I now avoid and will go to other grocery stores just because they're cleaner and they're safer. And so, what price do we pay a premium for our health and our future? You might be able to command, since you've got a patent on this, you might be able to command even a higher price at retail, especially the companies.
Right.
Thank you, Dave. Gabriel, you have a question?
Yeah. So a thought and a question. I think it's neat that you'd be able to put a Bluetooth sensor in it and tie it into a phone. I think it'd be great because if you do touch your face, you can get a notification on your phone to remind you to go wash your hands. Because sometimes you just have that itch that won't go away. You have to scratch it. The question that I have though is what kind of market research have you done to assess what demand might look like? Even just what kind of response have you gotten from friends and family about whether or not this would be something that they'd be interested in, even just with their kids?
When COVID happened in March, and I contacted a few folks and they were going, oh my God, I mean, this is going to just blow up. Send me 50,000 of these. We'll just sell them like hot rocks. But I said, well, that's the problem. I don't have anything made. I don't even have my prototype. Would have to start from scratch. So, you know, the demand they felt was there just kind of intrinsically. It's kind of like this is a no-brainer. But on a formal marketing, you know, test, I haven't done any. I mean, my family has used it, and again, all of us appreciated and learned very quickly not to touch our face. And really, from, you know, my own experience, my kids, my wife, I think our disease rate went way down. I mean, I haven't felt like I've had a cold in like 3 years. So I don't know, from my own empirical evidence, I think it works. I think it's kind of a no-brainer that, you know, if it really is a disease that you can get by touching your face, I think it's just going to eliminate it almost in a one-to-one correspondence. You stop touching your face, you get far less sick.
Great question, Gabriel. Paul had some questions in the chat. He asked, what do you expect your gross margins to be? I know you mentioned you're still trying to figure out price. I don't know if you have an answer to that. Also, what's the error rate for the device?
That's a good question on the error rate first. You know, I was wondering, you know, does it always detect that your hand? The prototype was amazing. I mean, it really did. The only other thing was, if anything else kind of entered into that sphere, it would also trigger it. So, you know, it's not just your hand. It can be anything that comes within, you know, 6 inches or a foot of your face, the buzzer will go off. Yeah. But most of us, not that many things are that close to our face, or if it is, we're concerned about it. So it's not a big problem. On the cost, the profit margins, again, not a clue. I think the sensors and the vibrating units that you would use are far cheaper today than they were 7 years ago. And what is the markup? You know, given these COVID times, I think people will pay a premium if they have some non-pharmaceutical way to protect themselves from disease and from any disease. I mean, you know, this is unfortunately probably the first of several pandemics that we're going to experience. Hopefully not in maybe our lifetimes, but our kids' lifetimes. So this is a basic biofeedback that I think is just, you know, important for everybody to be cognizant of.
Another thing Paul mentioned, is there a threshold for psychological learning? If false rate equals X%, then effectiveness is Y. I think that be an interesting outcome out of this device.
I agree.
John, looks like you have a question or feedback.
Yeah, just thanks, Joe, for sharing. I see some parallels to this with some of the posture technology that's out there, right? So there's these little devices that they make them in necklace form, the ones that go on the square of your back that teach people to keep their shoulders back when they're sitting in a desk. I wonder if there's just some interesting data and metrics that you can look at within that industry to draw parallels to the similar kind of behavioral expectations you could get from a device. It seems very kind of similar in nature, correcting physical posture with, you know, with haptic feedback like that. So I don't know, just kind of an interesting thought parallel that I made in my mind there.
No, absolutely. And that reminds me, this also has actually another medical condition that can alleviate it. People that have, I forget what they call it now, but they pull on their eyebrows or pull on their hair, or you know, pull the hair out of their head. I mean, it's obsessive compulsive behavior that this can actually be used by psychologists and whatnot to treat people, to make them more self-aware of when they're doing that, and, you know, to record it and see, you know, how they progress. So that's a great idea. I mean, to kind of get that data bank of information. I'm not sure how prevalent that condition is, but I think that would.
Trichotillomania, I think it's called. I don't know why I know that, but.
Wow.
Fun fact. Learn something every day.
Okay. We have a question about how much time is left on the patents.
It's a good question also. I don't have it right off the tip of my tongue. There is a dominant patent that I acquired. When I was doing this, I was filing for the patent applications, and I found a very dominant patent out there by Mr. Zarori And so he and I not only formed a friendship, but I basically acquired his dominant patent from him, and then worked with him and filed other patents. So his patent probably has about 5 more years left on it. The patents that I've been able to get, the other 5 patents and others pending, they probably have about 13 more.
Andrew, looks like you have a question as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Joe, thank you for sharing. This is sounds like an awesome technology that can be used in a lot of different ways. One of the things I was going to ask is if you've ever considered looking at the ways to use this in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Sounds like what John was saying, how this is in the same industry of like posture and changing the way we behave. It seems like if you could plug this into other technologies like heart rate monitors, for instance. I know we deal with a lot of veterans with PTSD who get anxiety, who get panic attacks, and just having something that can alert them to what's going on in their body could be really beneficial too. I could see a lot of different uses for this. So just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
I think that's a great suggestion. You know, to the extent it can be combined with other types of sensors to give, you know, feedback, I think that's great.
Looking for a final question from the audience. Goes to Josh.
Do you think that supply chain will be an issue for you? I kind of talk to people in the small business world, and supply chain has become a strain for a lot of people. Do you foresee that being an issue for you guys?
I wish I had an answer to that. Again, I believe that sensors are far more prevalent than they've ever been. I'm not sure if we have U.S. manufacturers versus, you know, getting them from China, or what the worldwide distribution looks like in sensor technology. But again, that's part of the team I'm hoping to form to figure out some of those questions, and just really, as simple as they are, I simply don't have the answers to them yet.
All right, Joe, I have one final question for you. We have 21 people in this room. What as a community can we do for you?
You know, some of the thoughts that you've already shared are very helpful, but any contacts anybody has or any ideas about, you know, team members. I mean, I'm looking literally for the human capital that has some skill set, some interest, some passion, especially during these COVID times. I mean, if somebody can push this thing forward, if you can't do it in this environment, I don't know if there's a better environment, just as sad as that is. But I think the time has arrived for this this technology to really go forward. And if I can get the right people behind it with ideas, finances, whatever, time is now.
Joe, I would recommend putting your email in the chat, and we should also give you a big round of applause. Good job, Joe. Okay. But yeah, definitely share your contact info. Now we're going to move on to our next presenter. It's Houses for Warriors. Houses for Warriors is a tax-exempt 501c3 nonprofit supporting our nation's military veterans who are in need. We offer real estate solutions, traditional housing, and connections to resources to homelessness and injured veterans. Let's give a big round of applause to House for Warriors.
All right.
Andrew, go ahead and share your screen.
All right, can you guys see that?
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving me the opportunity to share what we're doing. I'm kind of practicing an investor pitch, but it's also kind of just a public service announcement to, you know, gather interest and get people who want to be involved in our programs. Houses for Warriors is a 501c3 nonprofit that I started. Our mission is to improve the quality of life for veterans who are struggling with homelessness and disabilities from their service in the military. Bringing hope to our warriors by giving them a hand up, not a handout. So the big problem here, I'm going to stay focused because we don't have a lot of time. The big issue here is 50,000 homeless veterans in the United States right now, with a suicide rate of 22 a day, staying steady since 2015. Through our research, what we found through different research studies done by the VA, 40% of the suicides of our military veterans are struggling or have struggled with homelessness, or receiving VA assistance to prevent homelessness. So the main issue is that they're struggling with homelessness, a big portion of the suicides of our veterans. And there's 18.5 million veterans in the United States. It's 6% of the US population. So as of January 2009, there was 1,068 homeless veterans in Colorado, which is actually significantly better than the numbers in 2017. There was just upwards of 1,900 in Colorado alone. So the numbers have gone down. However, what we're finding is that the suicide risk is increasing as of with the recent things happening in our country with COVID and the protests. And the Veteran Crisis Line is receiving 12% an increase in calls, with 20% of all their calls being COVID-19 related. So unfortunately, we don't know what the impact of COVID-19 is going to have on our veterans. In the military, we prepare for the worst and we hope for the best. And preparing for the worst case scenario here is that we're going to be seeing a lot of influx in homelessness and evictions and struggling to maintain stability. So our mission right now is to secure property for our Warrior House program, which is a transitional housing program designed to give veterans self-sufficient status, providing a safe and caring environment. And we already have a property in mind. In Idaho Springs, there's a old middle school. It's 86,000 square feet. And our intention is to purchase this property and convert it into our Warrior House transitional facility. But I'll explain more about that in a minute. But our program, through continuous reinforcement and measured impact, we will be able to offer a fully all-encompassing transition out of homelessness and give them the skills and the tools they need to move forward and be independent. The vision of the program is to produce at least 100 graduates per year who are self-sufficient, successful, productive, functional members of society. This is an aerial shot of the high school that we're trying to purchase. It has about 12 acres on the property. Like I said, it's 86,000 square feet. It's already ADA compliant, ADA accessible. It has a elevator through all 4 floors. And the objective here is to create professionals and create a secure working environment where all their basic needs are met, where we have a staff that's fully committed to bringing about lifestyle changes within the warrior's life and to enable them in every aspect of society, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and socially active. Here's a little bit about the space, what the space can offer. We have a lot of ideas, and our program, the Warriors set and accomplish personal goals. We're partnering with Warrior Now, which is a mentor program, a nonprofit in Colorado, and they'll be running the mentor pairing process and connecting our veterans based on the specific needs of each veteran, because it's not one size fits all. Everybody has different goals. We're going to help them achieve those goals, set those goals, and then help them through the phases of our program. Again, not just a handout, they're going to regain their independence. The space allows for multiple work programs. We aim to offer at least 3, using the football field for an agricultural program, which qualifies us for agricultural grants from the city of Denver. Woodworking shop, we have professionals and contractors that will take on apprentices, as well as teach workshops on how to build art, custom furniture, wood flags, and we can sell and auction those online to our donors. And also a computer lab for computer skills and computer training, teaching them professional business skills through computers, just giving them a leg up, and they will be able to choose which work program best fits their goals. But they will be required to work a minimum amount of hours. They'll also be required to do community volunteering, and every day there'll be mandatory meditation, mandatory workshops and classes through the program. So we keep them really busy. Impact and accountability, simplicity and flexibility. Like I said, no one size fits all. Everybody's different. And tracking and measuring the impact with weekly interviews, progress tracking, and goal setting, achieving those goals. And then here's just a little framework. We analyze their behavior based on the different case managers that we're working with. We're working with Coalition for Homeless Veterans. We're working with Volunteers of America for Denver, the Disabled American Veterans. So we're working with a lot of very, very well-known, popular veteran advocate organizations to help us do the case managing and get us into get the right veterans in our program. Our model is based on a proven model in Wichita, Kansas, Passageways Ltd. So for the last 6 years, they've been actively supporting veterans through their transition with 100% success rate and 0% relapse back into homelessness. And they've helped over 150 veterans in the 6 years that they've been operational. So they've helped us develop our program. They'll be helping us train our staff. And a little background about what we've done so far. I founded the organization in 2019. I launched it in January 2020. And we completed our first home renovation for a disabled veteran in the midst of COVID, completing in March of this year. We raised $90,000 in in-kind donations and volunteer labor through our sponsors to repair the home for this disabled veteran, Delbert Strasner. His home was badly damaged by a hailstorm. We replaced the roof, the floors, we widened the halls. He has spinal cancer and was confined to his living room. So we remodeled his bathroom. We gave him an accessible bathroom. All of it was donated by local business and sponsors. So far, this is what we offer. We offer these special adaptive housing projects for grant recipients of the VA special adaptive housing grants. That's one way we make a little bit of money towards the nonprofit. These grants are $90,000 towards the renovation of veterans' homes. And those get signed over to the nonprofit, and we get sponsors and volunteers to do the work so that we bring our costs below that grant, so that we always make a little bit and it all goes towards our transitional program. We offer relocation assistance, homeless prevention assistance, benefits consultations, and now with our partner Warrior Now, we'll be offering mentorships. In November, we'll be launching our Warrior Lender program as well as the house buying program so that we have affordable housing options for the graduates of our program. And I can get more into that later. And here's a little bit of our sponsors. One in particular I want to talk about is Homemade Colorado. We're partnering with them on the renovation of this building once we own it. They pull in all of the Home Builders Foundation and Association, their sponsors and contractors to remodel for projects like us. So they'll be helping us with at least 50% of the remodel for the old high school. And Valor Roof and Solar, I just want to give them a quick mention because they donate the roofs for all of our projects. They'll be doing the roof for this one and providing solar free of charge. And they provide free roof repairs for veterans in need. So they're an awesome partner.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah.
Are you almost done? I see that you're kind of like a little bit more than halfway through, and I want to make sure we do a lot more Q&A. Could we wrap up and just switch to Q&A, and then
sure
maybe if you
yeah,
want to comment more on your presentation during the Q&A, that would be helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry about that.
No worries. I'll give you, like, if you want to say closing up for like 1 minute, and then we'll just move into Q&A.
You got it. Sorry about that. So we got, so far we're at like 40 monthly subscribers. We're getting our Google grant for $10,000 a month. We have a lot of volunteers, a lot of teams. How we're going to pay for this is through veteran grants. They offer different grant programs for projects like ours. The next project we have coming up is for a Vietnam veteran who was diagnosed with, he was poisoned with Agent Orange. So a lot of our veterans we're helping with these disabled projects are Vietnam vets. And we have a tiny home building contest that we're putting together. And yeah, this is what we need moving forward to secure the building, to secure the first year, and to complete the renovations. So that is it. I will turn it to questions. Sorry for going a little bit over. I was trying to go as fast as I could.
You're okay. Let's start off with a big round of applause for Andrew. All right. And Andrew, I assume you're a veteran as well?
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
for your service.
Thank you.
So let's open up for questions. I see there's a couple in the chat. So John asked, what's the cost of the property and rehab?
So the project, the property is 2.7 million. The rehab will be about 1.4 million, but the overall cost is going to be much lower to us. The VA offers 65% of the acquisition in a acquisition grant. So we're hoping to secure that. And then those recipients, or I'm sorry, the rehab is around 1.4. But with Homemade Colorado taking on and committing half of the project, we're expecting to be able to get most of the remodel completed between their sponsors and ours.
Awesome. Maybe I missed this. Are there going to be living in this property as well, or is it just for them to work on themselves and go to these classes?
Yeah, so the classrooms are going to be converted into bedrooms, and the space allows for up to 50 veterans at a time. So they will live on site, all their basic needs met, their food, their clothing, their housing, and then through their personal goals, we'll get them out and into their own apartment or back into school or getting benefits, whatever that is.
Gabriel has a question.
How long do you envision the apprenticeship programs to be? Like, about how long would people be there, and kind of what would your turnover rate be?
So we're expecting between 3 and 9 months, and that's based off of Passageways timeframe. They see an average of 6 months for a full transition from start to finish. And their program offers 5 different phases that they have to graduate through in order to complete the program. And anywhere, like I said, anywhere from between 3 and 9 months. Some take a year. It's just, there's no time frame. There's no required amount of time. It's however long that person takes to get their stuff together and get back into the world.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Gabriel. Next question. I have another one in the chat. Dan asked, what would you call the type of facility you're envisioning?
It's a transitional housing facility.
Okay. And then Cassidy asked, what's your timeline for purchasing Clear Creek Middle School for renovations and opening the facility?
We have to base it on the grant. We can apply for that grant next February, and funding would be in October. So we are looking for an October 21 close on the property and hoping to get under contract before November this year. My goal right now is to raise the $50,000 to get the deposit in, the earnest deposit for the property. And then once we have that, we're going to approach our sponsors and potential sponsors to see if we can get the $1 million that we need to close on the property.
Awesome. Next question is from Dave. Mentions about substance abuse. Substance abuse can be a factor in veterans' homelessness. Does your Idaho Springs community have that as part of their counseling program?
Right. So we would bring in different experts, and through the Warrior Now mentors, they will be assigned to a mentor, every veteran. And essentially, this isn't a rehab facility. This isn't a halfway house. This isn't a place for people to recover. We have different organizations that we're partnering to ensure that they get the resources they need. And then we would take them after their rehabilitation, after they get clean, and help them with the professional aspect of getting back on track and getting their goals met.
Awesome.
There won't be any drug use. We have a 2-strike rule when it comes to any violations of our rules or codes of conduct. They get one chance, unless it's a drug offense. They only get 1 strike for that. So we're basing all of our rules off the same rules of passageways. They've done a great job enforcing accountability and getting the right veterans into the program. So a lot of that has to do with the vetting through the different case managers we'll be using to vet the veterans to go through the program.
Have you been able to stay at this location, the passageways, for a while to kind of get a good idea of how things are run there, so you can kind of bring those best practices to yours?
Yeah, so one of the things they're offering is to come out and actually train our staff.
Oh, awesome.
Once we get the building and we get the staff hired. I've personally haven't been able to go out to Wichita yet, but I've done a lot of video tours, and I've participated in their podcast a few times, and just absolutely respect their program and know a lot about it.
Is there anything that they're doing that you would want to do differently?
Yes.
Or you, like what?
Theirs is a very faith-based, Christian-based organization, and I absolutely believe that to be a good thing. However, it's not our thing. We're focusing on professionalism, on action taking, on developing the skills and the connecting them to the different therapies that they're going to need through the VA, because a lot of these veterans that are homeless, out of the 50,000 veterans that are homeless, you have over 48% of them not receiving VA healthcare, not receiving any type of VA benefits.
Wow.
So that's where the issue lies, is getting them back into the system, getting them integrated, and then getting those goals set and accomplished.
Yeah. I have more questions, but I'm going to see if anybody else has a question in the audience. Okay. I'm curious, this is not exactly related to your business, but curious about the problem. Like, what do you think the military could do to prevent so many veterans from getting to this problem that you're trying to solve?
You know, a lot of veterans lose trust in the VA. They lose trust in the healthcare system. They lose trust in just government in general. And I think a lot of the thing is that when you get out of the military, you're pretty much alone. You're not connected with other veterans yet because you just got out. You're only connected with the people that are still in, and the disconnect there is huge. You know, you're usually there's a huge pay cut when you get out of the military. There's this whole transitional period of figuring out what you're going to do, if you're going to go back to school, or you're going to move back home, or you're going to, you know. So one of the things we're doing is integrating some new transition programs. I'm bringing on a really good friend and veteran who started a transitional program for the veterans that are transitioning out of the military, not necessarily homeless. And so one of the things we're going to do is integrate and incorporate different workshops and activities and events to bring newly transitioned veterans that are just getting out of the military, let them volunteer at our program, let them get involved with the different events that we're doing, and then offer different, integration activities, basically. But I'm bringing in a program director from Florida who worked with Canines for Warriors, and he'll be running that program. And we'll try to bridge that gap as much as we can. But as far as what the military can do, I don't think it can be done. I think it has to be done from the community. I think the community needs to welcome veterans back into civilian life, and just educating people and getting people involved is the most important work, I think.
Awesome. Final question goes to Josh again.
Hey, Andrew, I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit more on your guys' need for volunteers right now, as well as if somebody wanted to be a mentor, are you guys accepting those right now? What kind of time commitment does that look like for somebody who would be interested in doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll post a link to Warrior Now and their .org, their website. You can sign up to be a mentor on their website. And they just started their mentorship training program. So you would have to go through a certain amount of hours of training. I believe it's a couple times a week for a couple hours a day. And then when you get connected to a mentor or to a veteran as a mentor, the commitment is weekly calls. And I believe that there's different levels of mentorship. So if you can commit to a daily call on just welfare checks, we call it a buddy check for the ones that are just struggling and need a good, role model in their life, someone to just check on them, say, hey, how you doing? Or holding them accountable. Have you applied for your benefits today? Or did you do this today? You come up with strategies and plans for what they need. And then as far as volunteers for the organization, we always need volunteers, and it's just based on your skills and how much time you have to commit. And the commitment itself. If you are willing to commit to a list of activities or a certain amount of hours towards this project or this project, we don't have a volunteer coordinator yet. That's one of my first hires I need to do once I get some capital. I've been using volunteer coordinators, which doesn't always work out. So we're really trying to establish like a base team of employees that can, manage the volunteers, manage the events, manage the sponsorships. And that's essentially where I'm at right now.
Thank you, Josh. I have one final question. You kind of touched on this of what you're looking for, mentors, but anything else as a community, what can we do for you?
Anything you can. Anybody with a heart that wants to put, anybody who wants to put their heart into this, and really see veterans succeed and really see the numbers of homeless veterans go down. I heard the governor in Denver is about to sanction a tent city, and I've walked through this city and there's a good amount of veterans in there, and some of them, some of them really don't want to be there and some of them don't mind. So it's getting the ones that don't want to be there out, and anyone who can help, whether that's connecting us to financing, connecting us to someone who wants to put their name on our program and sponsor an event. We have some big event ideas coming up. One for the tiny home building contest. Anybody with skills in coordinating large projects like this would greatly be a huge help.
Okay. Well, thank you, Andrew. Let's give you one more. Oh, I might click. Hold on a second. I am out of control right now. I want to get, this is going backwards. Here we go. All right, round of applause for Andrew. Great job.
Thanks, guys.
I'm being technical difficulties clicking a button. All right, we have a couple more minutes. Anybody have any community announcements that they like to share? Anything from their own businesses or other events that they are attending? This is a great place to do it.
I got one quick one.
Yeah.
I'm going to be relaunching Founders Live probably next month. So if anyone is interested in pitching, not presenting, it's a 90-second pitch competition. No pretense, come and try and win $10,000. Well, basically everyone wins something. So just hit me up in the comments. If you don't have my email, I'll drop it over here for you.
Okay.
It will be virtual as well.
All right. Thank you, Gregarious. Josh, you have an announcement?
Yeah, so I think we have one spot left for Topgolf for next Friday. It looks now like we're going to do the 1 to 3 time frame. It seems to work for mostly everyone. So if there's anybody else that would like to attend, I think we have one spot left.
Okay. Josh, go ahead and just shoot your email or your LinkedIn so people can connect with you. I got time for one more announcement. If anybody wants to take it. Once, twice. Bueller. Okay. We don't have time for wins for the week. So share those wins for next week then. Just a reminder, if you're interested in presenting either an idea, a product you already have, or an investor presentation, or if you're a business expert, we'd love to hear from you as well. Please go to our website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. Apply to present. It's a quick application as well. The website also shows you who is presenting each week. In terms of the team, myself, we have Gregarious, we just chatted before, Hillary, Sydney, Kevin, Carter, and Allie. Thank you guys so much for your help. And that's all I have for this week. Again, check us out on YouTube if you want to watch this presentation over again. We also have our social media links, but same time, same place next week. Thank you guys for coming, and I'll see you next week. And round of applause to myself.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks, guys.